Hare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanu Pravaram Rajrasrasikam Charanayandam Prapannam Shri Guru Charanam Vande Ramana Prishthaya Bhutale Rupanu Bhaktivedanta Kripamurti Narayana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sadhguru Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of our spiritual masters, Itlai Srimad Bhaktivedanta Shri Narayan Sai Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Itlai Srimad Bhaktivedanta Shri Vam Sai Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, the entire Rupanakari Guru Varga, our guardians, to all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and everyone else present here. So Prabhuji is not able to come today, so on this order, speak a few words on Srila Gurudev's glories. Since we observed his Vyas Puja the day before, it is befitting that for at least until the Vaishnavas come tomorrow, we discuss a few glories of Srila Gurudev from his classes from Brihat bhagavatamrita. Now normally when we speak on the glories of any of our acharyas, there is their vichar vaishishta. Their vichar vaishishta means the speciality of their tattva, of their siddhanta. So what is the meaning of their tattva and siddhanta? The meaning of their tattva and siddhanta is that it is the established end, the established conclusions of all the scriptures. Now, when we say it is the established conclusion, means it is not just an hypothesis. Means it comes from realization. So whatever they speak are the essence of all the scriptures, all the shastras. So we need not look any further than what they have spoken. Like here, this class, which was published in the Harmonist in year 2004, Karthik. This is called an ocean in the palm of one's hand. An ocean which is in the palm of one's hand. So here Gurudev, he is speaking on the essence of all teachings in just this one class. He is speaking on the essence of Vraja Bhakti. Now, what is the essence of all the teachings of the Shastras? It is the love and devotion of the Vrajavasis. They are the only ones who can please Krishna. Absolutely, perfectly. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna said that I am pleased by whatever love the residents of Vaikuntha have, the residents of the other spiritual, whatever love the other spiritual residents have, I am pleased by that love. But still, I am not controlled, he says. He says I am only controlled by who? By the Brajavasis, and especially by the Brajadevis. So therefore, whenever we think of Srila Gurudev's glories, all these teachings that he has given on who the Brajavasis are, what is the nature of that brain, what is the purity of that brain, what is the selflessness of that brain, what is the ultimate degree of their brain, the ultimate extent of their brain is all bound to appear within one's heart. Because such was the nature of Srila Gurudev. He has given this world this Vishesh Avadan, means this special contribution. So now, Gurudev especially, he loved speaking on Brihat bhagavatamrita. Because he said Brihat bhagavatamrita is such a wonderful book that the essence of all the Satsandarbhas of Srila Jiva Goswami, the essence of even Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the essence of even Ujjal Limani, the essence of the Bhagavatam, the essence of Gopal Champu, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, the essence of all the books of Srila Rupa Goswami, all the books of Jiva Goswami, the essence of all the books of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, everything is found in this one book, Brihat bhagavatamrita, he said. Only this one book. He said this is called the Mool Goswami Granth. It's called the root of all Goswami Granthas, this one book. He said if we just read this one book, which is in 3 volumes, the first canto has 1 volume and the second canto has 2 volumes. He said if you just read these 3 books, these 3 volumes, he said all the teachings of the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, they will appear in your heart, he said. He said pure Vraja Bhakti itself will appear in your heart, he said. It is certain, he said. Such is the potency of this book, he said. So here, he is speaking on Sanatana Goswami's compilation of these verses of the Bhagavatam in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita. They are called Bhakti Rasayan. So what is Rasayan? Rasayan, if you see the Sanskrit to English dictionary, it says ambrosial elixir. So what is elixir? Elixir means something which is very nectarian, full of these transcendental flavors, full of transcendental taste, and something which is very ambrosial. Ambrosial means what? Something which pleases the mind and senses so much. So here, this section on Brihat Bhagavatamrita is called Bhakti Rasayan. Means these collection of verses, they please Krishna and his devotees so much. Sanatana Goswami has compiled all these verses from the Bhagavatam, and he has given his own commentary to them also. No. Because without the commentary of the pure devotees, how will we understand what the scriptures are? You will not understand anything. What can you possibly understand in the scriptures? No. In fact, in the scriptures, some things are said which are even confusing, which you cannot reconcile. Even in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned sometimes that Krishna is formless. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. There is one shloka in the second canto. It says he is formless. How to reconcile? No. When the scriptures say he is formless or without qualities, all these things, how to reconcile? It is only by the insights of the Mahabhagavad Vaishnavas. Only by their insightful commentaries, only then can we understand what is the meaning to these verses of the Bhagavatam. So here, Sanatana Goswami is quoting one shloka from the 10th canto, chapter 90, verse 48, from the Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam, with its 12 cantos, has been compared to a 12-story building, a building which has 12 floors. And he said that the 10th floor has 90 different rooms. So what are these 90 different rooms? They are the 90 different chapters of the Bhagavatam. And among these 90 different rooms of the 10th floor, there are 5 kunjas, he said. 5 life airs of the Bhagavatam, which are like 5 kunjas, 5 groves in this building. What are they? The 5 life airs. They are the Gopi Geet, the Pranay Geet, the Yugal Geet, Venu Geet, and the Brahma Geet. So these chapters concerning the pastimes between Sri Krishna and the Gopis, they are considered to be the very life air of the Bhagavatam. And without the Gopis and without Krishna, the Bhagavatam in itself is like nothing. Without the Brajavasis, what is the Bhagavatam? Without them. Therefore, one may question that what is the need for the first 9 cantos? If one should only read the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, what need is there for the first 9 cantos? No. So the answer is that the first 9 cantos, they gradually bring you to the stage of renunciation. By reading the first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, one comes to the stage where he realizes that this material world is not a suitable place for me to live in. That anyone should renounce this material world. If I ever aspire to enter into the spiritual world and be a part of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, then I'll have to let go of this material world. So therefore the first 9 cantos, they only speak of how one can achieve this renunciation. No? Like in the 5th canto, there is the history of King Puranjan. No? So this is like an allegory. King Puranjan was so much attached to his wife that next life he became a wife again. He became a lady again. So here they're teaching us also that even when you're amongst your family, don't be attached to them. Rather look at all your family members as the dear servants and maid servants of Krishna. Only meant for Krishna's service and not for my own service or enjoyment. Similarly, there is also the history of King Purarava in the Bhagavatam. No? King Purarava, who was he? It is said that he was a very powerful king, but he fell in love with Urvashi, who was the dancer in Indra's heavenly abode. Urvashi was a very beautiful dancer. So then, when Purarava saw her, he said, "Will you marry me?" So then she said, "Yes, I will marry you. You are young and I am young as well. Therefore, I don't see any obstacle in our meeting. But she said, I will marry you, and then on one condition, she said." So Purarava, he said, "What is that condition?" Urvashi said, "The condition is, I should never see you naked." That was the condition, she said. Purarava said, "Yes." So then anyhow, when they married and they lived together for many years, and then finally one day, Urvashi, she had 2 lambs. You know what lambs are, no? These little goats. No, that's what lambs are, no? Children of goats, or sheep. What are they? Sheep. Lambs are small sheep. So here, these small sheep, they were very much loved by Urvashi. So one day Indra, he saw in heaven that, where is my Urvashi? He's always dancing, giving me so much happiness, but where is she? Then someone told him, oh, you don't know where she is? She's married to King Puraravas now. She's there with him now. She's his wife. He said, what? How can this be? He said, without her, heaven is incomplete. Bring her back immediately, he said. Then how? Anyhow, bring her back. So then what did Indra's servants do? They went in the middle of the night and they stole the lambs, these little sheep of Urvashi. So then Urvashi, immediately she saw these little animals crying out in fear, then immediately she woke up and then she told Puraravas, where are my pets? Where are my pet animals? Where are my sheep? Where are my lambs? So then immediately Puraravas, he was thinking what to do. And then she said, what sort of a man are you? You cannot even retrieve, no, if you cannot bring back my animals, how can you even call yourself a man? So then immediately what did Puraravas do? Without any clothes on, he ran behind the lambs. And then running behind them, anyhow he chased the servants of Indra away and he bought those 2 lambs. And then he gave them to Urvashi. So then Urvashi was very happy, but she said, now I've seen you naked. Now that I've seen you naked, I cannot stay with you any longer. So then Puraravas was weeping. He said, how can you leave me? How can you leave me? You know, I had to bring those lambs for you, or else they would have ran away with them. He said, no excuses. Now you are naked, I cannot stay with you. So then he was weeping in separation from her, and then she left in this way. And then in this way, this teaches us also that we must not be overly attached to each other also. And anyhow, we must always look at each other as the servants of Krishna, maid servants of Krishna. No? And then there's also the history of Barat in the 7th canto. How Barat was so much attached, he was so attached to a deer. No, he had given up everything. He had achieved the stage of bhav. But even after achieving the stage of bhav, which is the preliminary stage of prem, bhav is like the stage leading up to prem. Even after achieving the stage of bhav, he saw one deer and he became attached to it. He's thinking, who will look after this deer? And then he became so much attached that when the deer grew up and ran away, he only kept thinking about, and then he died thinking about the deer. In next life, he became a deer. But then the next life when he was a deer, he was very careful to not get entangled in such association again. So he was always staying near he was always staying in the association of the Rishi Maharshis, the Munis, the association of the sages and saints. And next life, when he was born as Barat, then he became liberated again. So it took him 3 births to achieve perfection. So all these histories in the Bhagavatam, where are they mentioned? Where are they stated? No, what is the reason for all of them? No. If only the 10th canto is so special and so powerful, what need is there for all these other histories? Why? Because they're meant to teach us. Teach us what? Detachment. Renunciation. They're meant to teach us all these things. Because only when you imbibe some of that renunciation and detachment, then you can understand the glories of the Vrajavasis, Vrajadevis. Because what is the glories of that prem? The nature of that prem is such that to please Krishna, they are ready to give anything up. Anything in this world. And this is especially true in the case of the gopis. No. We see that even Nanda and Yashoda, they did not give everything up. Did Nanda Baba ever give? Did he ever give Mother Yashoda? Did he renounce her? No, he always stayed. Did Mother Yashoda give Nanda Baba? Did she renounce him? No, they stayed. And even the friends of Krishna, the Sakhas, no, did they give their parents up? Did they renounce their parents or did they renounce their other friends? No, they always stayed amongst each other. No, and anyhow they pacified each other. But the gopis, they gave everyone up. Their parents, society, they even gave their shame, their honor, everything up. And especially for a lady, to give her honor up, her chastity is very shameful in society. Like one example is given that when the Muslims attacked India, when the Mughals came attacking India, at that time, what would they do? They would kidnap all the women and take them away. That was the first thing they would do. So when they came to all these villages and towns of India, many ladies, what did they do? They started jumping into the fire. They had some big fire lit up and they all started entering into the fire. Because they said rather than being taken away from them, we'd rather die. But we see that the gopis, they even gave up that shame in society. They gave up that so-called bond, that shackles to society also. Why? Just to please Krishna. So therefore the first 9 cantos, they gradually give us that platform. And then on that platform we can at least strive to achieve Vraja Bhakti. So here what is that verse? So this verse is the final verse of Brihat bhagavatamrita actually. This is the final verse of Brihat bhagavatamrita. This is the final verse of Bhakti Rasayan, which is the final chapter in Brihat bhagavatamrita. So if one just anyhow tries to understand this final verse of Brihat bhagavatamrita through the eyes of Sanatana Goswami, then he is bound to understand the entire Brihat bhagavatamrita itself. And Gurudeva has given a very beautiful class on this. So what is that verse? Jayati jananivaso devaki janmavado yaduvara parishad sair daurbi rasyana dharmam sthirachara vrignagna susmita shrimukena vrajapura vanitanam vardayan kamadevam. So this is the last verse of Brihat bhagavatamrita. What does the translation say? All glories to Sri Krishna, who is known as Jananivas. He who lives in the hearts of all living entities, or who is their ultimate shelter. Although he is famous as having taken birth from the womb of Devaki, there is some controversy about this. What is that controversy? It is called Vad. Devaki Janma Vado. Vado means there is some disagreement. Vad means. So here there is some disagreement of Krishna having taken birth from the womb of Devaki. He is served by the exalted Yadus, the Yadavas, who are his associates. With his mighty arms, that is the Pandavas, he kills the demons, and thus destroying irreligion. He dispels the suffering of all living entities, both moving and inert. His gentle smiling lotus face increases the calm, the prem of the gopis of Vrindavan, as well as the queens of Mathura and Dwaraka. So this is the final verse of Brihat bhagavatamrita. So therefore, as Srila Sukadeva Goswami spoke this verse, he remembered the sweet pastimes of Sri Krishna from his birth to his final days in Dwaraka. You see, this verse describes all the leelas of Krishna, beginning from his birth in Gokul until his disappearance in Dwaraka. This verse not only speaks about the Mahabharata, but it speaks about all the pastimes leading up to the Mahabharata, and even those pastimes following the Mahabharata. So which pastimes follow the Mahabharata? Krishna's disappearance from this world. How Krishna disappeared from this world. He was shot apparently in the leg by a hunter. And because of being shot in the leg, he left this world. So there's also a nice history behind why his leg was like shot by the hunter. It is said that once Krishna was in Dwaraka. And when he was in Dwaraka, Durvasa Rishi, he came in the middle of the night to Dwaraka. When he came in the middle of the night, he started knocking on the door very loudly, and then he started shouting at the top of his voice that, "Where is the king of Dwaraka? Where is Krishna?" He said, "Where is his Dwarkadish? Where is he?" So when Krishna immediately he came, he fell at the feet of Durvasa Rishi. He said, "Oh Maharshi, please forgive me for not attending to you." So Krishna was very humble. He is teaching by example. So then Durvasa Rishi looked at Krishna and he said, "Now I'm very hungry," he said. So then someone were thinking, "Oh, this is the middle of the night. What can we?" He said, "Now cook something nice for me," he said. "Something very nice." And "What do you like?" He said, "I like kheer," he said, "Bring me some nice hot kheer," he said. So then immediately Rukmini and all the other queens, they cooked some nice kheer for Durvasa Rishi. And then they brought this kheer to Durvasa. And what did Durvasa do? He just took a little of that kheer. And then he took a little, placed it in his mouth, and then he told Krishna, "Now take this kheer and put it all over your body," he said. So then all the residents of Dwaraka were thinking, "What is he saying? No, this kheer is so hot." And he's telling Krishna to put this kheer all over his body. So then Durvasa was looking around to see who would disagree with him, but no one would say anything because he's Durvasa. No, if you say anything, you'll get cursed. No. Even in the temple, if someone is very angry by nature, he gets very angry very quickly, we call him Durvasa. Any brahmachari who gets very angry very quickly and wants to curse, call him Durvasa. In the mud, there is always someone like that. So there's always someone like that. So here everyone, they were looking around. No, so here is Durvasa Rishi, what to do? So then Krishna said, alright Maharshi, alright great sage, I'll do what you say. Then he took this kir and he started applying all over his body, complete body, his burning kir, just applying it. Where all the others were crying so much, like he's putting this kir. He put it everywhere except his feet. His feet he did not put. Why? Because he said these are the remnants of a great devotee. How can I put on my feet? He thought. See how humble Krishna is. He put over his entire body but not on his feet. So the Durvasa Rishi's remnants, a great devotee. I will not put on my feet, he said. And then he called Rukmini. He said, Rukmini, come here, he said. Bring one chariot, he said. And then they brought one chariot. And then he said, release the horses. He said, I don't want any horses to be there in front of the chariot. So they released all the horses. And then he said, Rukmini, tie the ropes to Rukmini. So Rukmini she stood in front of the chariot. And the reins of the horse, they tied it around her. And then Durvasa told Krishna, oh Krishna, I heard you are the charioteer of Arjuna. Now I want you to be my charioteer, he said. Now be my Sarathi, he said. Sit on the chariot, he said. So then he made Krishna sit on the chariot. And he said, now I will sit on the chariot. And he sat behind. Then he told Krishna, now move this chariot, he said. Take me all around Dwaraka, he said. I want to see how beautiful Dwaraka is. So then Rukmini, she was pulling the chariot like this. And Krishna was behind. And then Durvasa was sitting behind. Durvasa saying, go faster. And Krishna, he would even pull the rope this way to make Rukmini go faster. And Durvasa, he was sitting behind. And all the Dwarakavasis were so angry, thinking, we get this Rishi, see what we'll do to him. But then anyhow, after they went all around Dwaraka, then Durvasa Rishi, he got down from the chariot. And then again, Rukmini and Krishna, they offered him pranams again. And then Durvasa Rishi said, just see how humble you are, he said. This is why I manifested this pastime, he said. Just to show the entire world that although you are Parabrahma himself, Dwarkadish himself, still how humble you are. You followed every instruction of mine. So he blessed Rukmini and Krishna. He told Rukmini that Rukmini, because you rendered this seva, you will be known as the most chaste queen of Krishna in all the three worlds. No. When anyone thinks of Krishna and Dwaraka, the first queen that is bound to appear within one's mind is who? Rukmini. So Durvasa, he blessed her. And then he also blessed Krishna. That Krishna, your glory, your fame, they'll be spread throughout the three worlds, he said. In all three worlds, everyone will sing of your glories, he said. And then now that you have put this kir over your entire body has become stronger than a thunderbolt, he said. But, he said, I don't know for which reason you have not applied that kir on your feet. So he said, your feet will always be little susceptible, little weak, he said. So this way, when the hunter came, who was that hunter? It is said that previously in Ram's incarnation, Ramchandra, when he was in Kishkinda, when Ramchandra was in Kishkinda, he made a pact of friendship with Sugriva. He told Sugriva that I will help you and you will help me, he said. He told Sugriva that I will help you get your wife back. Because Sugriva, what he had done was, when his brother was fighting with a demon, his brother's name was Vali. So when Vali was fighting with a demon, whose name was Dundubi, so he was fighting with a demon called Dundubi. Dundubi had appeared in the form of a big buffalo. He was a buffalo demon. And he was fighting with Vali, and Vali was fighting with him. So then they entered inside a cave. So when they entered inside a cave, they fought for so many days. So Vali had previously told Sugriva that if I don't come out of this cave, then place a big stone outside the opening of the cave. So then this other demon, he'll also be inside. And he'll also be trapped. Or else he'll kill everyone. So Sugriva, he was waiting outside, saying, when will my elder brother come out? He was waiting, but his elder brother did not come out. And then finally he saw some blood coming out of the cave. So then he saw, maybe my elder brother has been killed. So he took one big piece of stone and he placed it at the entrance of the cave, at the mouth of the cave. So then what happened? Immediately when Bali, he came and then he saw this big rock there, and he said, what has my brother done? He's betrayed me. And he became very angry. Then anyhow he broke open that rock and then he came outside. And then what did he do? He immediately came looking for his younger brother. He said, you betrayed me. How can you do this? You're a traitor, he said. And then Sugriva had become the king, obviously. No, when his elder brother is not there, he become the king. So then immediately he took his younger brother, he caught him by the hair and he threw him out of the kingdom. And then he said, never come here again. If you come here again, I'll kill you, he said. Get out of here, he said. Beat him nicely. He said, no. And then he took away his young wife also. He had a wife. His younger brother had a wife, so he took that wife away also. So then Sugriva, he feared his brother so much that he went to one part of the forest where Bali could not enter. That forest, Bali had been cursed. Because there was this Rishi, Mandata Rishi. So Mandata Rishi, he had cursed Bali there. That if you ever come into this forest, you will die, he said. Because Bali, he would pollute the entire forest. He would do many nonsense things there. So then he was hiding there. So then when Ram came, Hanuman introduced Ram to Sugriv. And then anyhow, Sugriv told Ram, just please help me get my wife back and I will help you find Sita. So then anyhow, what did Ram do? He killed Bali. How? Bali and Sugriv were fighting and Ram, he shot Bali from behind. Why? Because Bali, he had this benediction that anyone who would come to fight in front of him, he would get 50% of his strength. Therefore, no one could defeat him, not even Ram. Therefore, Ram had to shoot him from behind. So in this way, when Bali died, he had a young son called Angad. So Angad was very sad. My father has been killed in this way. So in this way, Angad, he helped Ram in the war against Ravan also. But then, in the end, when all the monkey warriors of Ram were present in Ayodhya, Ram was giving a gift to everyone. Everyone he was giving one gift, saying, I'm so grateful to you. So then, when Angad came in front of Ram, Ram said, oh Angad, what do you want? So then Angada, the son of Bali, he said, I want what? I want payback. He said, just as you killed my father, he said, I also want to do the same thing to you, he said. No. Ram said, okay, that is not possible in this incarnation. But that will be possible in the next incarnation, he said, not in this one. So in the next incarnation, when he appeared as Krishna, Angad, he appeared as the hunter. And what did he do? He went looking for a deer in Dwarka. There was a very beautiful deer. So then this hunter, he went with his bow and arrow, following the deer. So then one may question that when all the Yaduvanshis, when all the Yadavas are killing each other, 56 million Yaduvanshis, where can a deer come from? No. This is all the arrangement of Krishna himself to leave this world. No, when all these people are killing themselves, where will the deer, which is so soft, enter that place? So then anyhow the deer manifested by Krishna's Yogamaya, and hunter went behind, trying to shoot. And then anyhow the deer entered inside the forest, and there Krishna, he was sitting in one place. And there, what did he do? This hunter, thinking that Krishna's feet was the deer, he shot at Krishna's feet. And then anyhow, there he saw it was Krishna himself. So then some people say that by this pastime it is seen that Krishna was actually not even God. That he was an ordinary human being. But Gurudeva says this is not the case. This was only a manifestation of Krishna's Yogamaya. Rather, Krishna was using this as a pretext to go back to Golok Vrindavan. So in one way he was also there in this material world, but in one form he went back to the spiritual world. So in this way, this verse is speaking about all those pastimes, even leading up to the Mahabharata, leading up to Krishna's disappearance. And after Krishna disappeared, Yudhishthir, he was in Hastinapur. Yudhishthir saw that all bad omens were present in the world. He saw that in the sky there were big clouds, and these clouds were like blood was coming from all these clouds. Means there was no rain, there was rain of blood. Drops of blood were falling everywhere. Women were having abortions, and all these animals were crying out in pain. So Yudhishthira thought immediately something is wrong. So he told Arjuna, go immediately to Dwaraka and see what is happening. And Arjuna, he went to Dwaraka. And when he went to Dwaraka, he saw that all the Yaduvanshis had killed each other. Even Krishna had left for the spiritual world. So in Arjuna, he took all the queens of Krishna. He said, all of you come with me. Where? To Hastinapur. Don't stay in Dwaraka anymore. No, because they were all very beautiful women. No. You see, beautiful women in society, for a woman to be very beautiful is not actually a good quality. Because if a woman is very beautiful, many people will be behind her. No, even if a woman wants to do bhajan, but because of that quality, it's very difficult. So many women will come, people will try to disturb her. I was listening to one incident that happened. Once Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Maharaj, he was present in his temple. And one lady, she came to his temple and she said that, I want to do bhajan, she said. So then Srila Maharaj, he told that lady that you can do bhajan, he said. But he said, you have this one quality which is not conducive for your bhajan. And she said, what? He said, your smile, he said. He said, no, he said, your beauty. He said, if you stay here, he said, many people will try to disturb you, he said. So then what did the lady do? The next day she appeared. And then she appeared with no teeth. She had removed all her teeth. When she smiled like an old lady. She had no teeth inside. So then finally that lady, she became a very great devotee in the temple of Srila Maharaj. So she even used to cook some of his favorite things also. So that way you see, in that way ladies, they're very, in one way they're very, they must be very careful at all times. So in this way, Arjuna, what did he do? He brought all the queens from Dwaraka to Hastinapur. But then as he was going to Hastinapur, when he came to one place in Madhya Pradesh, there were some Gwalas, means some cowherd men. What did they do? Immediately they came and they kidnapped all the queens of Krishna. They took all the queens of Krishna away. And Arjuna, he tried lifting his Gandiv. He tried protecting them, but even he could not lift his Gandiv also. No, even all his strength had disappeared from his body. He did not have any strength. Arjuna was such a great warrior. In fact, after the Mahabharata war, Arjuna, he told Krishna that, oh Krishna, you get down from the chariot and then I'll get down. Krishna said, no. First you get down from the chariot and then I will get down, Krishna told Arjuna. So then first Arjuna, he got down, and then as soon as Krishna got down from the chariot burned to ashes. Completely burned to ashes. And then Krishna told Arjuna that I was the only reason that you were still alive, he said. The only reason, because shooting so many arrows at you, and so many Karna, Duryodhana, all of them wanted to kill you, but I was protecting you. So then when Arjuna tried protecting the queens of Krishna, he could not do so. And they took all the queens of Krishna away. So here the question arises that how could Krishna's queens be kidnapped? How could they be stolen away? So it is said actually, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has reconciled this in his commentary. He has said that the queens, when they heard about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, how Krishna as a cowherd boy loved all the Vrajavasis so much, and how all the Vrajavasis loved him so much. The queens, in their heart, they had a desire. What was that desire? That desire was that they have Krishna also as a cowherd boy in their lives, not just as the king of Dwaraka, but they wanted to love Krishna as a cowherd boy. Therefore, Krishna, to fulfill the desires of all these queens, he himself appeared as all these cowherd men. And then he kidnapped all these wives away. In other words, he took all his wives away to the spiritual world in this way. So all these pastimes have been stated in just this one verse. This Jayade Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado verse. In this one verse, everything has been stated. So after hearing this verse, Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave the place where he had been hearing Harikatha. No, Parikshit was cursed to die in 7 days. No, Takshak, he was supposed to come and kill Parikshit. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, now he was preparing to leave. No, 7 days of Harikatha had passed now. He didn't have much time. Takshak could come at any moment and bite him. No. So he was preparing himself to leave. One can say that actually when Takshak bit Parikshit, he bit his lifeless body. Parikshit was not even present in his body. He had already left. As soon as he heard the 7 days of Bhagavatamrita, he left his body. Only his lifeless body was sitting in one place, and Takshak, he bit that body. He said. So in this way, Maharaj Parikshit, he was about to leave the place. where he had been hearing Harikatha. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami, who was also preparing to depart, he said to him, don't be afraid. Always remember that Guru and Krishna are with you, he said. So Sukadeva Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, don't worry, he said, don't be afraid. And always remember that Guru and Sri Krishna are always with you. So Srila Sukadeva Goswami gave Maharaj Parikshit the fruit of Mahat Sangha, or association with a pure devotee, namely the paramour mood of a gopi. This was Parikshit's eternal constitutional position. So you see here, it is said that Parikshit Maharaj, he actually had the mood of a gopi. So Sri Parikshit, he told Sukadeva Goswami, now that I have received what you wanted to give me, I feel fully satisfied. Parikshit did not think that he would actually be fortunate enough to receive this gift. But Mahat Sangha bestows complete perfection. He never thought that this highest fruit would come to him, but it did. No, Parikshit Maharaj, he was thinking that, how can I make the best use of this time, these 7 days? The last 7 days of my life, how can I make the best use of that? So then when he had the association of Sukadeva Goswami, when he heard Harikatha from him for 7 days, then he realized that this is the fruit of Mahat Sangha, the association of pure devotee. That now I have received this mood of a gopi. So if you are sincere and you are focused exclusively on Sri Krishna, and if you have Guru Nishtha, strong faith in Sri Guru, then your life will very quickly be successful and you will attain the same goal. So see, Gurudeva is giving us hope. He is saying if you are sincere and you are focused like Parikshit, if you have strong faith in Sri Guru, in Sri Krishna, then you will also be successful in this life. He's saying then your life will quickly be successful and you will also attain this same goal, he's saying. Just as Parikshit attained this mood of the gopis, you will also achieve this mood of the gopis. It is certain, he's saying. So he's saying be one-pointed like Parikshit Maharaj. During Sukadeva Goswami's 7-day narration of the Bhagavatam, he asked Parikshit if he wanted to drink some water. And Parikshit Maharaj replied, no, I am satisfied only drinking the nectar of your Harikatha, he said. I don't want any water, any food, nothing, he said. I only want to drink this nectar of your Harikatha, he said. So now Gurudeva is explaining the shloka, one line after line. Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado. So Sukadeva Goswami remembered all of Krishna's sweet pastimes. And he said, Jayati, may Krishna be glorious. So what does glorious mean here? Why do we say Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Gaur Chandra ki jai, Vaishnav ki jai? What is the meaning of jai? No, every day we say, no, Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Param Gurudeva ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navdeep Dham ki jai. What is the meaning? Why do we say this jai? No. Have we ever thought about this? So jai means victory. And what is victory? Victory is the opposite of defeat. So by this prayer we mean, may the Lord and His associates be victorious over me. May they conquer over all my anarthas, my lust, my anger, my greed, pride, illusion, envy. May they defeat me. Then I too will be glorious. So when we say Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, we are praying that may you be glorious and may you defeat all these anarthas within my heart, like lust, anger, greed, and so on. So, Jananivaso means Sri Krishna is everywhere. He resides within all living beings, and all living beings exist within Him. Nivasa means abode or shelter. Sri Krishna is the reservoir and shelter of every living being, whether a demon or a demigod. And He supports and nourishes all living entities. The word Jana has two meanings. In its first meaning, it refers to non-devotees, in whose hearts Krishna sits as a witness to their activities. No. So Jana Nivaso means that Krishna is present in the hearts of all the living entities. Jan means living entities. This is the first meaning. And then there's a deeper meaning, the second meaning, which Gurudeva will explain. So here, Gurudeva is saying, don't doubt that Krishna sees when we misbehave. He is all pervading. If you want to hide your activities from others, it means you are doing something crooked. Sri Krishna is everywhere, as is Sri Guru. You cannot conceal anything from him. So sometimes you may think, no, that I'll do something which is not proper and no one will see me. But here, Gurudeva is saying, don't think that you are not being seen. You are being seen everywhere. So the general meaning of Jananivasa is you always reside in the hearts of all living entities as the super soul. But Krishna cannot reside in the hearts of his devotees in this form. So here the general meaning is that as Paramatma, he is present in the hearts of all living entities. But here Gurudeva is saying, will Krishna also be present as Paramatma in the hearts of all his devotees? Will his devotees ever be happy if they were to find out that Krishna is not in their hearts, but Paramatma is in their hearts? Will they be happy to see that, oh, Krishna is not in my heart, rather Paramatma is in my heart? Will they be happy to see this? No, the devotees only want Krishna to be in their heart. Why? He can be there only as their worshipful deity. That is, as their master, friend, son or lover. Therefore, the second meaning of Jana is personal associates. Jayati Jana Nivaso means Nijajan. That is the pure Vaishnavas. That is his very own devotees. The Vrajavasis are this kind of Jan. The residents of Mathura are also pure devotees, but they are not as exalted as the Vrajavasis, for whom Krishna is their very life air. So when we say Jayati Jananivaso, all glories to Krishna, who resides in the hearts of his Nijajans. Who are his Nijajans? His Nijajans means his beloved associates, Vrajavasis, like Yashoda Maiya, Nanda Baba, Sridham, Madhumangal, and the Gopis. The Vrajavasis are his life, as much as he is theirs. The Gopis are the highest class of Jan. Yashoda Maiya is exalted, but the Gopis are more exalted. And among all the Gopis, Srimati Radhika is the highest, and she is most dear to Krishna. If you think Krishna is Mahat Sangha, exalted association, then Srimati Radhika, she is Mahi Yasi Sangha, the most exalted association. Her association is even more elevated and desirable than even Sri Krishna's association. So here we see, Gurudeva is saying even the association of Radhika is infinitely greater than the association of even Krishna. In Brihat bhagavatamrita we see that Gopakumar, he would always meet his guru like many times. His guru's name was Jayanta. So Jayanta, he would always come and instruct Gopakumar how to chant his mantras, how to do sadhan, how to look for his worshipful lady. But who was this Jayanta? This Jayanta was actually Krishna himself. Krishna himself had appeared to guide Gopakumar. So one can say that, oh, Krishna is so merciful that he appeared to guide his devotee. How merciful Krishna is. But actually, who sent Krishna to guide Gopakumar? Who? Srimati Radhika herself. Srimati Radhika herself had told Krishna that, see your friend, Gopakumar is, you look at him, in this material world, he's wandering here and there, he's lost. He does not know where to even go. He's roaming here, there, everywhere, up, down, east, west, north, south. And you are not going to help him. Go immediately and help him. So Srimati Radhika herself sent Krishna to help Gopakumar. Similarly, when all the jivas, when they are wandering in this material world, who sends Sri Guru to this world? No. Sri Guru is actually the beloved maidservant of Srimati Radhika. No. Srimati Radhika herself sends Sri Guru to deliver all the living entities. No. Like you were saying, no. Srila Gurudev told you that Radhika herself.
I said, Gurudev, how do you pick your disciples? He said, I don't pick. God one is with this one, this one, this one.
Srimati Radhika, she herself delivers all the living entities through Sri Guru. Therefore, how exalted is the association of Srimati Radhika and her one-pointed followers. More than even Krishna's also. Their association is more exalted. Sri Krishna, he takes shelter in the hearts of his Nijajan and he rests there. In other words, he personally manifests in the hearts of his dear devotees. And to remove the pain of separation of his devotees in this world, he manifests here as his many, many incarnations. So then this way, by manifesting himself and all his incarnations in this world, whatever viraha his devotees have. Whatever separation they have, he removes all that separation. Once, at the time of the Rajasuya Yajna, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he asked Sri Narad Rishi a question. This was the same question Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami. And the question is, Sri Krishna is equal to all. Why then does he side with the demigods and fight against the demons to protect the demigods? As Sri Nrsimhadev, Ram and other incarnations, he killed Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Kumbhakarna and the other demons. These activities seem to indicate that the Lord is partial. So they say, how can Krishna be partial? He should be impartial. Then in reply, Narada, Sri Narad Rishi spoke Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam. As the super soul, Sri Krishna lives in the hearts of all living beings and is equal to all, just as the sun shines impartially upon everyone. But if an owl shuts his eyes and refuses to come out of its hideout, how will it ever be able to see the sun? It will never be able to. No, the owl cannot see the sun because eyes are always closed. Similarly, demons do not perform bhakti, and they are like that owl. They don't believe in God. Nonetheless, Sri Krishna, he descends to this world in his various incarnations and he bestows his mercy upon them. So this way Krishna's mercy is freely available to everyone. But who's taking advantage? That is the question. So here, we'll stop with this last part. Maybe right now. Okay. So Sri Krishna, the son of Yashoda, Devaki Janmavado. The residents of Mathura and people in general, they say that Krishna took birth from the womb of Mother Devaki. This statement, however, can be challenged for two reasons. No, all the Mathuravasis say that Krishna is the son of Devaki, he is Devaki Nandan. No one can become the father or mother of Krishna because he is the father of everyone, including Devaki. But he is actually the son of Yashoda. She is his real mother. He is partly the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. But fully, he is the son of Nanda and Yashoda. No. When Krishna released Devaki and her husband Vasudeva from jail, they returned to their palace and Devaki wept. She lamented how fortunate Yashoda is to have directly experienced and relished Krishna's childhood pastimes. I did not get the chance to experience this. Sri Krishna would beg rotis and butter from Yashoda, but not once has he begged anything from me. He would speak lies to Yashoda, but he is not even like to me. Yashoda is more fortunate than I am. So Devaki is saying that, just see, he would weep in front of Yashoda, he would cry for her milk, he would beg from her, he would even steal from her. But he's not doing anything like that in front of me. In front of me, he's coming and touching my feet. He's offering me so much respect. But he's not begging any food, he's not speaking lies. Saying, why? What is the reason? So Sri Krishna is the supreme truth. He is the super soul, the controller of everything and the source of all incarnations. His opulence is unlimited. As a young boy, Krishna put some earth in his mouth. The gopis complained to Yashoda Maya. But Sri Krishna denied what he had done. Yashoda Maya forcibly made him open his mouth. And there, she saw his universal form. She saw that he is in fact the supreme truth, the controller of all controllers, the super soul, that all existence lies within him. So this verse does not mention Krishna's name directly, but the previous verse does. And this verse refers to that same Krishna. He took birth from the womb of Yashoda Maya, Devaki being but another name of Yashoda. So when it said Devaki Janmavado, it actually means that he is the son of Yashoda. Because Devaki is mentioned in one of the Puranas, that she is also known by the name, Yashoda is also known by the name Devaki. And in this way he killed Agasur, Bakasur, Putana and other demons, and he fought in the Mahabharata. The context of this verse indicates that it is referring to Krishna. May that Krishna be glorious. So here it says that actually this verse is implying that may Krishna of Vrindavan be glorious, not Krishna of Dwaraka. That is what Gurudeva is saying here. When it says that Krishna killed the demons with his mighty arms, it doesn't mean the Kurukshetra war. It actually means the demons like Agasur, Bakasur, Keshi, Putana. It means them. So at the beginning of Rath Yatra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted this verse in the mood of Srimati Radhika, meeting with Krishna at Kurukshetra. By their sentiments, the gopis brought Krishna to Vrindavan. At that time, they decorated him with flowers. In their hearts, they forcibly gave him the flute. He had left with Yashoda Maya in Vrindavan. So Krishna, he did not take his flute, nor his peacock feather to Dwaraka. He left everything behind in Vrindavan. So the gopis, what did they do? They took Krishna's flute, they took his peacock feather and they gave it to him, saying, keep it with you. Don't say that you are the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Say that you are the son of Nanda and Yashoda. Don't listen to them, listen to us. And then they said, don't say that you are a Yadu, you are a Yadava. Only say you are a Gopa, a coward boy. And Shri Krishna said, yes, I will accept what you say. And what did the gopis do? By the chariot of their hearts, they brought Krishna away. So that is the meaning of the Rath Yatra. The Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, being absorbed in the moods of Srimati Radhika and the gopis, what did he do? He brought Jagannath in the chariot of his heart. Therefore, you see, during the Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu did not even pull the rope. He only touched the rope, but he did not even pull. So sometimes devotees, they're very anxious to pull the rope. No. Sometimes lakhs of people, they're all trying to pull the rope, and the devotees are also trying to pull the rope of Jagannath. But what is the real mood? The real mood is actually by kirtan. You're pulling Jagannath in the chariot of your heart. Not that you're like literally pulling him. Rather, you're placing Jagannath in your heart, in the chariot of your heart, and you're taking him where? To Vrindavan. So this is the mood there. So in this way, this is the speciality of Srila Gurudev's teachings. That he has come, he appeared in this world, he blessed this world, and he taught everyone that these pastimes of Braj, the prem of the Vrajavasis, the prem of the Vrajadevis, the Vrajagopis, is not just something that we can only imagine. Rather, it is a reality. And it is such a reality that if we ever have that greed, if we ever have that attitude to serve, then we can enter into that reality. And we can be a part of that reality. So Gurudev, having appeared in this world, what has he done? He has shown everyone the way. That enter into this world. Stay there eternally. Don't stay here. You're all refugees in this world. Try to be residents of that eternal world. So he's giving everyone that qualification. So how merciful he is that he came, he stayed amongst us for so many years, and he blessed so many of us. So therefore, on his appearance day and on all these tithis, we only pray at his lotus feet and try offering this Pushpanjali, that we can imbibe some of his instructions in our lives, and that we can progress gradually. So hopefully tomorrow we will come again, and then we can listen to this Harikatha from a pure Mahabhavat Vaishnava. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo